Call meeting to order. Worthington City Council regular meeting, 5:30 p.m. Monday, March 10th, 2025, City Hall Council Chambers. If I could have everybody rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, welcome everybody. We have no additions or changes to the agenda.
Move to close the agenda.
Second.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion is carried. Public hearing on residential property tax abatement, community development case item 1 in the gray.
Move to open the public hearing.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, opposed, same sign. Hearing presentation.
Thank you, Mayor. Exhibit 1A is a copy of a City of Worthington residential property tax abatement program application submitted by Lonnie and Nancy Johnson. The applicant seeking approval of tax abatement for the construction of a single-family home on Sterling Avenue. This is out in the second edition of Glenwood Heights on the newer part of Sterling. Staff has reviewed the application, concluded that it meets all the parameters of the program guidelines, and recommends approval. Should council concur, it may do so by adopting the resolution provided in Exhibit 1B after completion of the public hearing.
Okay, any testimony? Questions?
Motion to close the hearing.
Second.
Okay, a motion and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Action on the hearing.
Motion to accept the tax abatement. Second.
Motion and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion's been carried. Thank you. The consent agenda.
Motion to close the hearing.
Okay.
We already
Yeah,
did.
did that.
Onto the consent agenda, we've got regular city council meeting minutes of February 24th, 2025. Boards and commission minutes, water and light commission meeting minutes of February 18th, 2025. Traffic and safety committee meeting minutes of January 28th, 2025. Application for exemption from lawful gambling, Worthington Okabena Windsurfers, Inc. And bills payable.
Move to approve consent agenda.
Second.
Motion and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion's carried. On to administration.
All right, the first item is the second reading of the proposed ordinance to amend Title 15 of the City Code. This is the cannabis zoning ordinance. This is the date and time for the second reading. A complete copy was provided in the February 24th, 2025 council agenda. Council action is requested to give a second reading of the proposed ordinance. And at this point, we have not had any feedback comment on the proposed ordinance.
Okay. Motion to accept the second reading.
So moved.
Okay.
Second.
Motion and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. On to Public Works.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. The first case item I have is private docks on public property. In accordance with the city policy adopted in 2013 regarding the issuance of permits for private docks to be located on public property, the city council shall annually set the number of private docks allowed on the public property. And in 2024, council allowed all applicant permits on the condition that they meet our dock policy. In 2024, the city issued 8 dock permits on public property. Owners who currently have a valid dock permit will have the first option of renewal on the following year unless city council reduces the permits available. If council reduces the number of permits, all permit applications from existing permit holders will be reviewed by the council. And the second thing council shall do annually is set the annual permit fee. The 2024 fee was $200, and we're proposing no change to the annual fee. It was last increased in 2022. In your packet is a list of the 2024 dock permit holders, and council action is requested to set the number of dock permits issued for 25 and the fee charged for each dock permit.
Mike.
Last year, did you have anyone come in afterwards and express interest in putting a dock out? after we had set the
We,
eight?
we allowed anybody who came in and met the criteria to get a permit. So if they came in any time of the year. So we allowed all permits that met the criteria, and we only had 8 people come in for a permit, and that's how many permits we gave.
So we're not setting the maximum then?
The maximum was if they were, they allowed all permits to be considered as long as they met the criteria, is kind of what, the way they put it last year. And that's the way we've done it, the last 3, I think, years or 4 years. We
Okay.
went from a high of 17 in 2016 to 8 last year.
Okay.
Part of the discussion from before was that I believe there were some concern that if they didn't renew, that they might not be approved again or whatever. And I think that's was part of the reason for some of the lower numbers. But one of the criteria, can you list some of the criteria for permits to be granted?
We don't allow, first of all, you have own property across from the public property, and it's usually only right away or public property next to the lake shore. We don't allow them in parks. And there are certain areas, there's area down by 2nd Avenue down here that's got a special use permit kind of thing that only allows 2 docks down there. We used to have people that would be worried they weren't going to get a dock permit the next year, so they wouldn't put a dock in, but they just bought the permit. And we didn't think so we didn't really think it was fair for them to do that when we've never met the maximum criteria, and we've never reduced the numbers since I've been here in 2015. So that's kind of the way we're doing it, or the way
We're
we do it.
not having to set the maximum number.
Oh, you allow all permits as long as they meet our dock policy. And then once again, I'll remind you of this. When I get these permits come in, you still have the opportunity, you still have to approve the permit as it comes in. So we're just setting the policy right now. And then when the permits come in, I bring them to you guys, usually on a consent agenda. And if there's some red flag that I don't like, or you guys don't like, you have the opportunity to deny it at that time. So we're not, you can set whatever number you want to, I guess, but they've always just allowed them all.
There's kind of a set limit already, although I don't know what that number is, just because of what the criteria they need to meet.
Yeah, and I can't tell you, it's however many properties there are across from eligible areas, and I guess I've never really counted that up.
We haven't turned anybody down.
Nope.
We don't advertise as well either. Just it's kind of
It's kind of a word of mouth.
if they've already had
had
their
one,
docks,
or
they're
a lot of times if they sell a house, they'll let the realtor will let the person know. Or I'll get questions from realtors that houses that are for sale around the lake, and some of them meet the criteria, some of them don't, and I let them know at that time. You have to have a certain set of steps to it. It has to be, the dock has to be inspected on a weekly basis, is what our $200 is for. So there's a number of things that we can pull them for or whatever.
Can they put a dock in any time during the year then?
April 15th to October 15th. We give them a little leeway here and there, if it's a little later fall and the weather's really nice, but we've never had anybody that's kept one in later than, we really needed them to.
Sure. Had somebody that's looking at purchasing a house, or probably did already, on I think it's West or Lake Avenue, that's closer to the Centennial.
Yep.
About putting a dock in. So
Yep. Some of those areas, like if you get up closer between Godfrey and Pershing, that's a really, really steep bank. Now they're eligible to and there have been docks, and there are some docks in there. They're eligible to put a dock in, but they have to have a set of stairs that goes down to it, and it has to make sure that it's not a liability issue. They do also have to provide us with liability insurance and everything too. But so that makes it really hard for some of those properties. But yeah,
I seen that there was a dock in their backyard, so it's in the neighborhood of Doc Ludis's place. So
yep,
probably pre-existing. But
yep, we usually have one that's right there, and then it just depends where the public property ends and private property starts.
Okay.
I'd make a motion to set the 8 docks minimum.
Well, I would just like a motion to say that we will issue the maximum amount of permits we will issue are the ones that meet our criteria, and then the fee.
And then approve these that have already come forward.
No, they have not turned them in
Oh,
yet.
they haven't
No.
turned them in?
No, these
Oh,
are just
okay.
the dock holders from last year. I don't know if these will renew. I'll send the letter out after we set this.
So a motion to limited to those allowed by our dock policy and to
Yep.
set the fee at $200.
The rates are the same, yeah.
That's my recommendation, staff's recommendation.
Okay,
So moved.
second.
Okay, motion and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion's carried.
Okay, and the next one is YMCA program fee approval. The Park and Recreation Advisory Board at their March 5th, 2025 meeting reviewed and endorsed the proposed 2025 YMCA summer fees, Exhibit 1 in your packet. These fees included the Water World Aquatic Center, YMCA Day Camp, and the city summer sports programs. The YMCA will give council a presentation to outline the changes from 2024 fee schedule, and action is requested to approve the YMCA summer program fees. And we have the CEO of the YMCA here. So if you have any questions for her, or she would like to go over a few things for you.
Yeah, so for 2025 for Water World, the daily fees did not change. We did increase for our season passes, and you can see a larger amount for a YMCA member season pass. We did increase our group rates this year by $5, $10 for over 100. Our goal is to really get more group rentals there. We are saying that they can be able to have the pool rental just for themselves from $7.15 to $8.45. So that would be one of the largest changes within the rate proposals for Water World.
Is this a day rate as far as group wise?
There are day rates. So for like the 2 and under is $2, 3 to 17 years old is $6, and 18 and above is $8. And so those fees did not change.
Like the group rates though, does that include a whole day or whatever?
Well, that would be just a certain amount of time for the larger groups.
Right, I would think so, yeah.
Right.
Okay.
And the group rates last year, it was listed as a 2-hour time frame or something. And so we took
Sure,
those time frames off.
structured, okay, right, thank you.
So just a minimal increase in the fees.
See that.
For the actual season pass and nothing for the day pass. Okay.
For sports, we did increase the fees $5 for both member and non-member, so from 45 to 50, or the 65 to 70. I did not increase the Pee-wee ball or T-ball fees. That is more parent volunteer led compared to the track and field, tennis, and softball. That would be more of a staff led. So. Okay. And then our summer camp, continuing with the layout that we had last year, ended up to be a fabulous summer for us. We had 300 more students attend than ever have.
Very nice.
And we have the capacity to have an extra 100 more. So we were at almost 800, and we have the capacity for 891, so almost 900.
Wow.
So
Okay,
the tiers were beneficial for families as well. So I raised it to 100, 125, and kept it at 150, where last year it was, the first tier was 75, and then 112.50 and 150. So we found that the people, when they registered, it was a mixture between all, but they did appreciate the different tiers within that. To register for camp, it's a $25 deposit to hold your spot, and that $25 is included in the overall fee, so parents like that as well. For payment of June camps, it's due in May. Payment of July camps due in June. So that was a budgeted system for the parents, and they appreciated that as well.
you were able to find enough staff?
Yes.
Sounds like, oh my gosh, right?
one thing I'll bring up, the nice thing about it is the way they're running it now. It used to be where you had to sign up for like a month at a time or the whole summer or whatever. This is a weekly sign up. You can choose your weeks. If you're on vacation, you don't have to pay. And even if you pay the $150 and your child is at the day camp for the maximum time for the week, which is 50 hours, it's $3 an hour at the maximum amount, which we think is a big help. We have a daycare shortage in this town, so it gives people in the summertime an option for their kids. They've also changed a lot of the programming. They do a lot more education-based stuff with these kids, and so they get a little bit more age-friendly. So, and that does include your lunch too. That amount.
Yep, lunch, and the lunch is provided from the school. It does provide a snack,
Yep.
morning and
Steve?
afternoon snack. So
You said 891 is your capacity.
yes.
Where do you put them?
Well, last year we were able to use Prairie Elementary for our K-1-2 group. Phenomenal opportunity for us. The 4th and 5th graders were in the Minnesota West campus, and then 6th through 8th were on the Y campus.
Thank you.
So, and yeah, we were out in the parks, and it just, moving and shaking. It was, I don't know. It was a good summer for us. So,
Good. Thank you.
So if you had 300 growth last year, which is great, what if you have that this year? You just won't be able to.
Your own,
Handle.
if you can expand by how many did you say?
I have an extra 100.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
within the amount of staffing I have set for and classrooms and such.
Okay.
Yes, if we did go larger than that, I would want to make sure that it was like 24 kids more for that classroom, to make it
Okay.
work within the budget wise.
Okay.
But we will have
Great
wait
news.
lists. It is, yeah.
Do you find that there's kids coming from outside of Worthington?
A little, but not as much.
Okay.
Now, I did have a suggestion that with our Jamie Cummings group, they are from Adrian, Brewster area, and so I should go and reach out to them as well.
Which is good.
Mhm.
I'd like to see as many people, as many people from Worthington come, but
Mhm.
if there's people from outside of our community come, they may buy groceries while they're here, the families or whatever.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So it's
Yep.
good activity.
Yep. Or working families as well.
Yeah.
Our time frame with the 7 to 5 really helped with that.
Good. Good news.
Right. Any other questions? Okay. All right.
We're looking for a motion to approve these fees for the 2025 YMCA program.
Motion to approve the YMCA fees.
Okay, we have a motion and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion's carried. Thank you.
Okay. So the next one is declared public works vehicle as surplus property. In accordance with the City of Worthington's disposal of public property policy, staff shall declare city-owned vehicles as surplus property before they can be listed for sale. The city staff would like council to authorize the following vehicle as surplus so it can be disposed of. It's a 2016 F-250 3/4-ton pickup truck with 50,386 miles. City staff is proposing that the surplus vehicle be sold by sealed bid. City staff will advertise its sale and also place for sale signs in the surplus vehicle with the information on how it can be purchased. The proposed surplus vehicle was replaced in the 2025 budget, and council action is requested to declare the listed vehicle as surplus property and allow city staff to advertise for its disposal.
I'd make a motion to approve 2016 F-250 pickup as surplus property.
Second.
Okay, motion and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion's carried.
Thank you. Okay, District 518 ball field maintenance agreement. The city of Worthington currently leases from Worthington School District 518 the middle school baseball complex The Public Works Department maintains and schedules all activities for these fields. Some of these duties include field maintenance, cleaning and trash removal, and minor maintenance of facilities. The proposed fee that District 518 will pay the city of Worthington is $12,826, a 10% increase from 2024. A copy of the agreement, Exhibit 2, is included in your packet. Council action is requested to approve the agreement with District 518.
Move to approve agreement for the baseball fields.
Okay.
Second.
We have a motion and seconded. Any further discussion?
Yep.
Chris.
What's the current, what does the city lease, what's the amount of the city lease for the district for?
I believe we just leased it for $1.
Perfect. That's all.
Okay, thank you. So we have a motion and second. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion's carried.
And we used, one more thing for that, Chris, we used to bring that lease up every year, but we just have it a recurring lease because we think it's a really good program for all of us.
Thank you, Todd.
Thank you.
The next one's is adopt a resolution executing a state of Minnesota grant. The city of Worthington was recently notified that they've been awarded a Minnesota Department of Transportation grant to purchase a 2024 AMI snow pusher at the Worthington Municipal Airport. The quoted price of the 2024 snow pusher is $26,940. The proposed state grant will pay 70% of this cost, which equals $18,858, and the city of Worthington will use airport reserve funds to pay the remaining 30%, or $8,082. Attached in your packet as Exhibit 3 is the grant agreement and the resolution executing the Minnesota Department of Transportation grant agreement. Council action is requested to adopt the resolution accepting the grant and authorize the mayor and city clerk to sign any necessary agreements.
Okay, any questions?
This is pending that 14th, if the money's going to be approved yet.
This is a state grant. So
This is state
yep,
grant.
Yep.
Okay.
The only question we'll have is if the amount, if there would be tariffs and on this, and the amount would change of what it is, and then we'll whether it's a 25% increase and the state pays additional 70% of that, or if there is no increase, we're still checking on that right now.
Okay.
We can't order anything or purchase anything until we get the grant agreement purchased, so that's part of the.
Where does it come from?
Well, we're getting it through RDO out of Marshall, and they're checking to see if it's going to be subject to the tariffs, or if they have one someplace in the United States that they can get.
Sure.
So we're just checking right now.
Okay.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, a motion and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion's carried.
The last one I have for you is a resolution accepting a park bench donation. The Park and Recreation Advisory Committee has received a request from a group to place a bench in Chautauqua Band Show. The request is as follows. The Worthington class of 65 to place a bench in the Chautauqua Band Show, and the application and resolution accepting the donation of the bench is included as Exhibit 5. This donation meets all the requirements as set forth in the park donation policy adopted by City Council. The Park and Recreation Advisory Board recommends City Council accept the donation. Council action is requested to adopt the resolution accepting the park bench donation as presented and authorize the mayor and city clerk to sign any necessary agreements. There was a nice letter in there in your packet, so another park bench that goes into the band show.
Wonderful. Thank you. Then move to adopt the resolution thanking is it
Class of
Jan
65.
Lowe and the class of 65 for their donation.
So we have a motion
Second.
and a second. Okay, any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Todd.
Hey, engineering.
Evening. I have a award contract for pavement restoration. The bid opening for the 2025 pavement restoration project in the Cherry Point neighborhood was originally scheduled for Wednesday, March 5th, 2025 at 2 p.m. However, the bid opening was postponed to the next day, Thursday, March 6th, 2025, 2 p.m. due to the weather condition. The bid result will be made public once the council awards the contract to the lowest responsible bidder. The lowest bid submitted by Dunning Inc. is $740,865.15. The bid is approximately 29% lower than the engineer's estimate. Staff recommends that the council award the contract to the lowest responsible bidder. So I worried a little too much, I guess, this year.
Say what?
I worried a little too much about the price.
Oh, it's all right.
Seeming pretty good. Yes.
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 Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion's carried.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Ooh, before you run off, we have in our budget 900,000 for pavement
Correct.
improvements.
Currently.
So we may come forward in the coming weeks with additional work that may be possible that would fall within the our budget that we had set aside. So
Yes.
we'll analyze that once we look at if there's other projects that we might be able to pick up this year.
Okay, thank you. Okay, moving on to city council or council committee reports. I have nothing.
I have nothing. I have nothing.
From the HRA, as you know, the Prairie Acres is being up for sale. They had a 2-day walkthrough to minimize disruption to the renters and things like that. They had 9 groups go through on those 2 days with a total of 15 people. So there's
Very nice.
a lot of interest in this property. Bids are due on the 21st of March, so that'll be a week from Friday. So we're looking forward to that. Also, construction that will be starting this week on the second duplex at Sicily and Grand.
Good.
So
See that stake.
that'll be getting going. So that should come online this fall, I would think. So that's it.
Okay, thank you, Chris.
I have no report.
Okay, Steve.
The only thing I want to mention, I know there's been a lot of concern or questions about the geese that have died on the lake sitting on the ice. Our public works guys were out. They have picked up 31 dead geese and we're disposing them at the landfill, and they will continue to pick those up off of public property. We're not going on to going into people's backyards and private property, but we will try and keep ahead of that as best we can.
Any word from the DNR? Any word from the DNR? Or
DNR?
anything? No. Okay.
They're aware of it. This is a
Right.
problem all over.
Yeah.
No, we just took some safety precautions and we're out picking them up, and we dealt with the landfill, how they wanted them taken care of. So we'll get what we can. There's still some, of course, the ice isn't all the way to the shore in a lot of places. So as they come up, it's easier to pick them up before the weather gets too warm. So we're out there today. We'll keep an eye on it. Any that we can get off the shore when they put the shore.
Luckily enough, it seems to be minimal considering how many geese we do have.
Well, yeah, that come in and out. Yeah.
Yeah.
The public works will pick up what's on private property too, or
What's that?
the geese that are dead on private property, will the public works department?
No, we will not. We're not going on private property to retrieve them, just on public property.
According to the landfill, if they're double bagged, they can just be put in. They have to be double bagged, and they can be put in the trash can. So if somebody has one, wear rubber gloves, disposable gloves. We're just using a pitchfork to pick it up and putting it in the bags. And if they're double bagged, they can be put in the trash cans.
Right.
That was the recommendation from that.
Thank you, Todd.
Okay, thank you. If we have nothing.
Move to adjourn.
All right.
Second.
Motion and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion's carried. Meeting adjourned.